G'day there, Jamie Pike here from Pikes. Today I'm going to give you a little tasting note of our 2019 Hills and Valleys Riesling. So the Hills and Valleys Riesling is a label that we send mostly to our export markets around the world. And the reason that we do a special wine for our export markets is that our other Riesling, the Traditional, which is I guess what we're best known for, that's a Riesling that's quite dry, so that's only around about 4 grams per litre residual sugar. And we know that in export markets around the world, the average and I guess the expectation for Riesling is for it to carry a little bit more. This is a 2019, so 2019 was quite a warm, dry vintage. We had a lower yielding crop, so that means we had quite an intense flavours and higher acid. So even though we had lower quantity, the quality was quite high. The fruit for this wine comes from both our vineyard, so the vineyard that you can see out behind me here in Polish Hill in the Clare Valley, but we also select some growers fruit for this wine. So the other sub-regions of Clare Valley are Seven Hill, Watervale, Leasingham, even White Hut, which is further to the north. And we select some growers that are in those higher altitudes, in those sub-regions, because we feel that those sites and those vineyards get the best intensity and characteristics that we're looking for in our Riesling. In terms of the winemaking for this wine, we machine harvest at night time to make sure that we can harvest the grapes when they're quite cool. Harvesting during the daytime in Clare Valley, right now we're just about to kick off vintage and it's around about 37-38 degrees Celsius. So harvesting grapes in the middle of the day, you end up warm grapes in the winery. So we want cool grapes, so we pick them at night time, and by harvesting them by machine, we can harvest them and have them pressed off of skins within half an hour or so. So that's really, really important for protecting the aromatic and more, I guess, pure characteristics that we see in Riesling. From there, we inoculate with a neutral white wine yeast, and again, that is to protect those more pure Riesling flavours. So, and then we let the wine settle on lees for up to 3 months before we put it on into bottles. So that natural cold stabilisation and settling allows us to impart a little bit more of texture into the wine. So I guess the other thing that is different that I mentioned before is this does have a little bit higher residual sugar. So all we do there is we stop the fermentation early by chilling it down. So this is around about 12 grams per litre residual sugar, and the alcohol is 9.5. So beautifully balanced with slightly higher acidity, and it's in terms of flavour and how we see that coming through. On the aroma, we're seeing really lovely ripe kaffir lime, lovely white floral citrus flower characteristics, and even just a hint of tropical fruit, maybe into some slightly green pineapple type aromas on the palate. Again, a lot of those flavours that you can identify on the nose are coming through on the palate. That very generous mouthfeel is provided by a little bit of the residual sugar, and just balanced beautifully with the Riesling. So with the acidity, sorry. In terms of food matching and things like that, this style of Riesling we feel goes really, really well with Asian dishes. So things that have those higher aromatic notes and potentially a little bit of chili to them. Those kind of bright, vibrant aromatic notes play really nicely with those flavours in the food, and the sweetness that's there is a beautiful counterpoint to the chili, and the acidity means it's quite versatile. So you can look at things like fried foods or foods that are a bit fatty, to that acidity cuts through fat and oils in those wines. So cellaring as well. Look, this wine is meant for immediate consumption, but up to 5 years in the cellar wouldn't harm it at all. So give it a try. Enjoy it with some dumplings or some lovely fresh seafood. And cheers.